Hello folks and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm pleased to announce we're going to start a new series. This is a grind series at Spa. It's the 1 hour race where you can total 1.5 million credits. We're going to attempt to take you through the process of trying and testing approximately 20 GT1 prototype cars, and that will only be the GT1 class. No GT2, no GT3, no VGTs, no GT4s. It's just going to be man against machine, myself against the process, the GT1 cars. We're going to start with the GT Nismo GTR 15. And here we are, folks, at the circuit Spa. World Touring Car 800 with a maximum reward of 1 million credits. We hope to turn that into 1.5. The car we're going to use today, as you saw in the demo screen, is going to be the GTR LM Nismo 15. And we have available tyres as thus. We're going to use to meet PP just the racing hard tyres, which mean we won't have to stop so often. We should be able to run to the limit of the fuel. Take a look in the race. As it states, it's a 60-minute race in the Spa 24-hour layout. We're also going to do a simulated 24 hours for every race. So we will start the race in the mid-afternoon. We will run through the evening, into the night, through the morning, and we'll finish the race at approximately 24 hours later, depending on what lap time we're on. Settings for the car will be the GTR Nismo LM 15 on racing hard tyres with a PP of 799.97. This is an unusual car. It is front wheel drive. We are just underneath the target, running 483 brake horsepower. Tyres are on racing hard, as we said. Fully customizable suspension, everything default. Fully customizable diff. It's the front wheel drive version, so we're on 10/30/20. That's all default. Downforce is set to 900 at the front, 1400 at the rear. ECU fully customizable, set to 70. Performance output is set to 70 on the power restrictor. We've added no ballast. The transmission is fully customizable racing. It's a 5-speed box set to 360, as you can see there. No nitrous. We've got a medium RPM turbocharger. As we look into that, you'll see that the rev range is pretty flat from 3,800, but the brake horsepower, sorry, the torque tails off. So it might be a short shifter to get up through the gears, but your power is pretty constant up to about 6,500 where it tails off. So that's where you really want to start changing gear and get the car into a lower rev range so it can push through the higher revs, push through to the higher revs. We have made no other adjustments. There's nothing else available that we can put on. And that's your lot. Assist settings today will be manual transmission, traction control 1, ABS on weak, and everything else off. Controller settings, we're on a G29. Controller steering sensitivity 5. Force max torque feedback 7. Force feedback sensitivity 7. So, without a doubt, let's go and start. And at the end of all this, we'll wrap it up with a final summary race. So, let's make a go and let's get on with it. Here we go. We're going to switch immediately to the fuel map screen, and that battery just melted away in the first couple of seconds, didn't it? So let's work out when we can. Oh, the GTL Ford there just tried to throw us a curler up into 5th gear, which is the top gear. When it rains later, we might choose to just change the fuel map a little bit. But this is going to give us 15 laps, so this should take us all the way to the rain. I had a feeling this car was going to be really disappointing, but I've just given it a 5-mile test drive, first ever miles I've driven in the car, just to make sure that the front wheel drive doesn't cause any major hiccup to the setup method we use. The gear range is really quite high, so we're going to run a good fuel economy, I think. 15 laps is going to be decent. BMW just trying to run the block in line, which we're happy with. We can run around the outside. We'll be quick enough to get round. Battery's gone. So we anticipate that this battery is going to be only recharging while we're on the brakes. And we'll get this car moving along. So heading the field currently Mr. Beauvoir, followed by Mr. Miazano, and then third place Lopez just ahead of us there, Grady and Miss McEwen. So we will have to get a move on and get around these boys as we run the curb around the outside. I think track penalties are on minimum, so no, it isn't. Track penalty didn't like that, did it? So that's given us a little half a second slowdown, which is just back there, so we'll get that at the end of this lap. Just have to be cautious of overtaking around the outside. It's often the safest spot to make the overtime, to be honest. Car's carrying a fair whack of downforce, so we should be able to hold this round the corner. I was a bit dubious that the racing hards would give us what we need. Brake balance is fine, traction control on 1. Now we'll focus on lap times. Just going to see how quickly these tyres wear. Front seem to be taking the brunt of the hit. We've got medium downforce on the front, heavy downforce on the rear, but with the front wheels taking the drive and the braking force, those front tyres might be an issue. We just have to manage that. Let's get the weather radar ready for later. Braked a bit late into that corner. Fuel map is ebbing away, but we are making good progress through the field. Look, coming up against some of the hardcore racers now. Just get a slow down here for 0.5 of a second. We're using more fuel than a lap that it's saying. Then get up into the higher gears and try and cruise along. Oh, there was a collision between the two AI cars. That turbo pumped a lot of boost. You can see the boost build. When the boost gets to the top, that's really when I want to change gear. So we can now see the full field. Beauvoir is leading some 12 seconds ahead. Yamanaka second, Lopez third. We're now into third, so Lopez drops to fourth. Mendoza fifth, Miazano sixth, Mr. Fraga in seventh, Portilla in eighth. Yamanaka being out there nearly at the front but running in free air. We can just see him in front of us as the fastest lap at 2:19.282. Before the evening draws in, we'll try and give you a full lap commentary of break points just to make sure you know the key things for this track. If it's not a circuit you've raced a lot, it is a historic great circuit, this one. It has many years of history. The circuit has changed significantly since its original days, with this being a shortened high-speed loop, one would say. The old circuit used to run out along the top line after the longest straight and used to go on for another 4 or 5 kilometers out into the hills and forests here in this region of Belgium, isn't it? There's a question to my brain. I need to double check that. Might pick up another penalty there. So we're braking at the 100 point for this first turn, hitting the apex, running out onto the curb, and then we're charging downhill to what is the fastest, probably one of the most dangerous high-speed corners in the F1 circuit, which is Eau Rouge. As we plummet through Eau Rouge, back up the hill, the other side to the top of the hill, we come through where the pit lane joins the circuit. That's going to feature quite heavily later as the rain starts to come in. Braking point now is looking to be just on the edge of the curbs on the left hand side, just there. Down to first gear to get this car through the corner, up to second early to try and limit any torque and wheel spin, and also improve the fuel economy. We're out of battery just as we're about to hit the 75% point on the fuel, and we brake on the exit to the curbs on the left hand side, on the entrance with the curbs on the left hand side. Braking just as the right wheels come to that curb on the right, then charging hard down. We're going to look for the 50 marker where we're going to brake here as we're going to negotiate up the inside as the Supra. He didn't want us to have the line, but we're going to make our way through. Braking again on the 50 just underneath the gantry, into second gear, run it round the corners, just let it roll. Basically coasting round the corner. You don't need to do any more. It might look like there's a little bit of throttle with my right foot, but we're not giving it everything. We're just holding the car. Allow the car to flow through here. Two tricky corners coming up. These left-hand corners are taken at speed. The first one flat. And we're just going to lift with two wheels abreast of the white line. Run out to the curb, a much better line that time, and braking just on the before the 100, approximately 120. Down to first gear, and we're into first place. Changing out up to second gear. You see the car really stalls and spins up on the boost there in second gear. Brake on the 100. Feels like the evening is drawing in. Going to switch to the rain radar just as we see the rain emerging from the top left hand corner. So we're going to see how long that is. Oh, we've just flown through there. Oh dear, loss of grip, loss of downforce. We get a 1 second penalty, which is unwanted, but it's warranted. I believe that shortcut was quite obvious. It was huge. It gave us the ability to get a purple sector, which draws my attention to the fact we do have the fastest lap, a 2:17.238. Braking on the edge of that curb, down to first gear, let the car run through, and there's some significantly heavy rain in there. Look at that. How fast is that rain moving? Do we need to consider changing tyres just yet, or can we leave it just a few minutes, maybe another lap? I don't think there's going to be much respite. We're going to need to have the serious wet tyres on, I think. Look at the mix of colours in that rain. Already 5 seconds in the lead now, almost 6 as we go purple, but it's the same time that we had purple at the front. We've got a 1 second penalty here. Back on the torque, back on the power. The rear tyres taking no wear whatsoever. We've yet to see how this car will cope in the rain. I think there's another lap in this, as it looks like the evening is about to draw in. The clouds are building. We can see the rain probably coming from the left-hand side there as we run north. Once more down into Eau Rouge. See if we can take it that little bit better this time. Just going to brake from fourth. Just going to brake as we take this corner. Try and hold the car in. Back on the gas. There we go. Allow it to run out. Don't think we'll go purple this time, but it looks like we're going to need to pit the end of this lap. Being an endurance type race, these pit stops are going to be slightly longer, I would have thought. First simulated driver change I would believe would take place probably, or would this driver get another stint? We don't do the driver changes, I'm afraid, in this race. That isn't a thing, but away we go. Chasing down the hill, spotting the 50 on the brakes, down to second. Back on the throttle, let the car run out to the yellow curbs, pull it back into the apex. Look how dark and dim it's becoming now. That rain is almost on us. We should get just back to the pits as it starts to rain, but I have a feeling it's going to be torrential and we're going to go to the full wets. The full wets is not a gamble, I don't think. I think that's well within our decision-making capabilities to go to full wets right at the start. With purple sector as well, that's epic. Car is getting lighter. We will fill up with fuel, and we'll need to consider what fuel map we need to run at, and then whether we need to change the traction control system. See if we need to limit the torque to the front wheels. Here we go, we're taking the pits now just as the rain starts. Try and get the car in without hitting anything. That's all the turning lock we've got. And we're in. We're going to take the full wets. Oh, that alarm's a bit broad, isn't it? My word. 13.3 seconds in the lead. And the battery's just charged back up to half. That was on all the brakes as we came in, wasn't it? We are going to take the fuel. We might as well. The rest of the field goes streaming past. Nobody's stopping for rain yet. Just see how much it's coming down. Mr. Grady's come in from 15th place. There it is. It's already way beyond the capability. Overtaking prohibited. I'm not overtaking. I'm in the pit lane exit. There's been an incident at the end of Eau Rouge. We're coming out in 5th place. Front wheels are spinning up. Just going to turn that down. Just going to take the car gently as we go here. We're on the right tyres. The rain is just so deep now. It's coming down. Yamanaka in second. Beauvoir is some 16 seconds ahead, but I don't think he's going to have much capability coming into these corners if he's on race tyres. He's cooked. He's done for. We've got the right tyres, the right fuel map, limiting torque and control. Sorry, maximising control, but limiting torque, limiting the brake horsepower. You can see the wheel spin we've got. Front wheel drive's easy to control in rain. Second gear into this corner, we're flying past them. They're on race tyres, they haven't got a chance. Much easier to drive a front wheel drive car in the rain than rear. Point the tyres in the direction you want them to go. Plant the throttle. And the Of course they'll spin, but they'll try and aim for the direction you want them to go in. Need to have a look at the rain gauge and see where we are. It's a massive rain. Heavy patches and spells. We're 24 seconds in the lead. We've pitted already. These guys have got to pit. The heavy stuff is about to hit us again. Lap timer will be reduced, but you've got to think they're going to take 30-40 seconds to pit stop. We're going to be flying down the rear of the straight. The first of the cars, Mr. Bouboir, is going to be arriving at the pit stop any minute. That rain is so loud. What we can't fix is AI not being able to predict the weather. Is Bouboir going in? Bouboir's going in, but I think he's crashed on his way in. We're 6 seconds down on the fastest lap. Bouboir is in. The rest of the field will follow when they get there. Will they take intermediates though before they go to the rain weather tyres? I wouldn't have thought so. I'd think they'll go straight to rain. Yamanaka's now in. Ordonez has carried on. Has Ordonez carried on? Ordonez has carried on without a pit stop. Bouboir has left the pits now. Ordonez continues. One can only imagine he's a heroic wet weather driver. He's charging up the straight there. Bouboir Solis exits the pits in 4th place. They have gone to wets. Yamanaka ahead of Solis now. Inestrosa in 6th. As we carry on smashing round this lap, making the most of the advantage we've got. Did Ordonez pit when we pitted and therefore is on the wets early? Up from 15th place, I think that's right. We're now coming out of the heavy stuff, it looks. No real tyre wear worn as yet. Purely because of the water depth, one would imagine. We're 1 minute 22 ahead. Just the last crescendo of heavy rain before we can see. I think we've got tail enders ahead. I don't think we're far off starting to lap people. Of course, we missed the apex there. Still pondering. My brain knows it's Belgium. It's just my brain is telling me that. Double check, think before you say any more. It is Belgium, it's not Holland, not the Netherlands. There we go, round the Corvette. Struggling along in the wet weather. As we come ploughing round these corners, we get another splash of rain, taking the water depth up. We just kind of struggle to get the car back into the racing line. Here we go. And then from now on, I would always closing the door on me. I'm having to brake. Mr. Kawakami, come on. Blue flags, duck. Come on. We've got front end damage, so braking into here, we'll have to be cautious. We went for the inside line. He wasn't happy with that, was he? At some point we're going to need to think about now switching back to maybe an intermediate tyre or a straight back to a race tyre, which we've got hards. But the rain is now abating, so we've used very little fuel. What we can do is possibly start to switch that back up just as these tyres come into their own. And we'll start to see some tyre wear as the track dries out. Now I know, just like at any other circuit where there's rain, the treacherous bit is exiting the pits on the new tyres, because you're gonna have a very wet out stage, pit lane out. It's gonna be tremendously wet on the race tyres, but it looks to me like we're through the rain. So as it dries out now, we've got to think about seeing the dry line and deciding the point where we're going to go and take those race hard tyres. Just one gear down to take the corner. Now the reds are just starting to show on the wets. It's a very low driving position here. We can't really see the track ahead. That's the way it is in these GT1 prototypes. You're very low. Grip is good. We've got the fuel map back up, so we're now just going to push these tyres until we definitely know there's a dry line. For those who have done S10 at Spa in the standard license testing, the super licenses, you know the dry line appears here. Still showing very wet though. At the moment, the Inter is the favourable tyre, but we're keeping these wets moving. We could run in the wet just as the gentleman in front is doing, Mr. Lopez, down in 16th place. He's getting the blue flags, they all are, but they're not up for moving. Going to take the inside line in the wet. There we go. We get a shove from Mr. Lopez. Not entirely happy about that, is he? Well, well, well. Mr. Grady runs it wide. We follow him. They're getting back up to speed, these boys, aren't they? And the rain comes just a little bit more. Past Mr. Grady with wheel spin. There we were thinking the track's drying out, but the rain just brought back down a cover again. That rain gauge on the left hand side just shows just how deep the water is. It's still favouring the intermediates as we complete another lap. Mr. Cookerman and the RX Vision showing some damage to the right and rear quarter. Mr. Beauvoir now is in to come off the wets. An interesting call. There's the end of the rain, top left hand corner. So we know now it's definitely in the drying phase as we run wide. The front tyres now showing considerable wear. Go around the outside. We will pit at the end of this lap, I believe. I think. Still showing wet though. Not entirely sure. I trust an early change to the race hards, especially if we slip off the line, because it's still very wet off the racing line. I think we can manage these tyres just a little bit longer. 1 minute 46 ahead of second place, and we're cutting through now. It looks like the GT40 of Mr. Wilk ahead of us as we run really wide. Probably picking up a penalty for that. It looks like Mr. Wilk's GT40. I can tell by that blue flash of light just inside what are the air ducts at the rear body of the car. But could be proved wrong though. The rain is still persisting. We're just going to stick with these tyres just a little bit longer. So is that us lapped up to 8th place almost? We've definitely got the end of the rain. 30 minutes into the race. Mr. Wilk has made a move, has he? I could be well out. Mr. Beauvoir, 12th place. Oh my lord, it wasn't Wilk. Where is Wilk? He's a little bit ahead. I'm sure I saw him. He's up there, just going round the corner. Come on, don't stop on the apex, please. Come on. Third gear is the gear for acceleration. Just limits that wheel spin. Mr. Wilk is actually cutting his way through traffic. That's why we've not caught him. He's up to 5th. Mr. Bishop braking hard there, really braking late. Mr. Ordonez looks like he really capitalised well with that early pit stop from 15th. Allowed him to really cut through the traffic by the looks of it. There we go, we're past in Astroza now. Now we're still chasing down Wilk. There he is. This is lap 13. The end of the rain is on us. Oh, run wide there. Now we're looking to the track to see if it's going to dry up. Not everybody has gone to the pits yet for the race tyres, and that's why Beauvoir was probably a little bit slow through the apex maybe. Here's the dry line, just starting to form now, we can see it. Still preference to the intermediate tyres though. Mr. Wilt, we've managed to catch you. Just got to watch that rain gauge. As soon as it starts to dip below that first line, we'll know. Here it is. We'll know the tyre of choice is going to be the Racing Hards, which we're going to go and put on because these aren't going to last much longer. Get into that wet patch. Here he comes. Oh, he's just dive bombed us up the inside. Forced us off the line. Probably has much more grip on those tyres now. Yes, we're into the pits now, definitely. We haven't got a choice on these tyres. These tyres are saying it's a day done. The rears we could swap to the front, but no, they're definitely wearing out. So we'll pit early. I say pit early, we're going to pit in. I don't think we're pitting early. I think we're going to be on schedule. Oh, Mr. Wilt gives us another battering. We're just going to show him our left rear fender. Just kind of hoping he doesn't want the pit lane, because that's what I've just been punted. Car on the right of me has struggled there as well. There we go. We're going to go to the Racing Hards. I don't think we take the Inters. I don't know who that was that attempted to pit next to us. I don't see them having made it into the pits. I can't see them on the front left. Sorry, top left hand corner chart. We're 2 minutes ahead now of Ordonez. Our second stop of the day. Only 25 minutes remaining. There's a chance we're going to need to go back to wet tyres soon. We'll take the fuel. I don't think we need to fill up again today. Now we're going to race tyres, so we need to be steady away out of this. Just need to be aware that it's going to be extremely wet. Drive out with caution. Front wheel drive car actually reacts so differently. They didn't give us any room to exit, did they? Front wheel drive should actually be quite drivable on the wet stuff. It'll just spin up and we just have to make sure we've got the grip through the corner. It has got it. Low down in first, then through the gears quite quickly to accelerate. And here we go. Here's the morning sunshine. The sunrise is occurring. We're through the night. Dry line is definitely there. It was a 21-second pit stop or something to that tune. His Al's gone in on inters. Wilk's gone in from third. Down to fourth as Miazano passes him. So Yamanaka in 13th place looks like our next. Is he going to go to the pit and make it easy for us? Yes, he is. Up to third early. There's somebody charging out of the pit lane. Absolutely hooned it through there. No real disregard for the wet. That was Mr. Hizal in 6th place. That'll be Mendoza just in front. Sound of that Subaru changing down. Just rest our nose against the rear of his car to let him know we're there. He's focusing purely on what's in front. Chasing down Mr. Mendoza, but these races are great practice for using a faster car against lower ones and try to find the way past without being smashing past and barging past. I know it sometimes looks that way, but the difference in speed is so difficult and it's something you have to get used to. I'm definitely not an expert at this just yet. Here we go, we found our way round. Back to second, I think. The sunshine, the early morning sunshine just hitting our backs. Mr. Ordonez definitely goes to the pits now. He's in. Will he take the fuel? I'm guessing he will. Mr. Miazano goes in. Coming off those inters. And I think we've got rain coming in again, haven't we? The screen was absolutely clear. We have got rain coming in. It's a good job we changed the screen. It doesn't look like the rain is coming with this sunshine that we've got here. Ordonez is out and away. Miazano yet to take the fuel. They're going to be frustrated, aren't they? We're going to have to see what happens here with rain. Do we need to change off these hards? Is this car easily with wheel spinning? Whoa, that was a fine line. Wowzers. We're still not on a perfectly dry track yet, look. Inters would still work as an option. Into the last 20 minutes now. So we're in first place, Ordonez second. Hazal has made his way up to third from sixth. Wilkin fourth, who was charging his way through the field, seemed to have been arrested. Beauvoir made his way up from 12th to 5th in recent laps, with Bishop there in 6th, just chasing him down. Mr. Miazano in 7th and Mr. Portilla in 8th. As we again have the rain clouds coming, the track has now got a dry line in certain areas. It's still wet in others. 2 minutes 13 ahead is the update. So I'm guessing we're somewhere around about chasing down Ordonez. He's got quite a lead, I think. Unless, of course, that pit stop, which was only 2 laps ago, has put us back down to 6th or 7th in the chasing stakes. It's only a thin band of rain, this. I don't think we're going to take tyres. I think we're going to rage it. I think we're just going to go with what we've got and run through it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It could be absolutely torrential and so difficult to drive, but we'll have to see what does. Hazal has gone to the pits. He's behind us then. We are chasing Ordonez for the lap. Try and put Ordonez the lap down. Out the pits comes Miss McEwen. Everybody's gone to the pits for their inters, or off the inters. Are we going to go around the worst of the rain? Mr. Rubbelart, is he going to make room? The rain is falling. We just sneaked around. I think that's Ordonez there in front. I think that's him. As we run really, really wide with this wet that's just come. Wow. Can't turn. It won't turn at all, look. We just came within touching distance of catching Ordonez, and they are just pulling away from us at the moment if they're on inters. There was a mistake that we made just then into the gravel. What has been really quite a drivable car has just come unstuck. Racing hard's not really having any level of control until you come off the power. Got to stop the wheel spin happening. Still doing best part of 90 mile an hour. There's absolutely no point pitting in, because you'll have to do 2 stops, and Mr. Hazal is behind us now. As we brake and just carry on through, we're going to have to go and take those inters, no matter how much we don't want to. We're going to have to. We should have taken inters really at that next stop, shouldn't we? That last stop. Just take the inters, no fuel, and then we'll be good. I really had the faith that those intermediate tyres would do the do. It's a stunning looking car. Splendid livery created by JB at GTP Addictions and JDB Design. JDB Design? JB Design. JBD. JB Design. Got to get these things rolling out the tongue, off the tongue, rolling out the mouth. There we go. Now we can potentially turn off, get the fuel map where it needs to be and turn off the traction. We'll have significantly more grip on these inters. There we go. Let's see if we can get that one lap back on Ordonez. He's not overly far ahead. Probably going to have to get pit in again for the dry tyres. Looking forward to the custom race at the end. Full fleet of GR1 cars bounding around this track will be absolutely epic. We're going to try and replicate the rain, and I don't know how to do that really, apart from setting up for rain in the relevant time periods of the race. But we could do a full race simulation, but do it as a random, so we get whatever weather is wherever the weather is on the custom race. That might be the way to do it. Spice things up a little bit differently. Where are we with the weather? So the weather's pushed on through now. We're just waiting for a drying track again. Ordonez 1:33, so that time settled out. Little mistake there to push on the race hard tyres. We'd have never been any good on them, will we? Still leading the race quite comfortably. Got just 10 minutes of the race left, so maybe 4 more laps. And I do believe this race pans out very much the same weather-wise. There might be slight variation in the randomisation, but we'll find that out over the next 20 races. I anticipate we're adding 30 million to your bank account if you do every one of these races that we do. We'll try and do 2 or 3 a week. Might see a couple across some updates, you never know. But there'll be its own little chapter set up in the channel for grinding at Spa. People describe this car, the Nissan, as one of the worst GT1 prototypes in the game, but I actually think it's pretty epic. It's nice and quick, it's economic, which is a massive factor. Tyre wear is limited to the front wheels only, but it's pretty drivable. Okay, race hard tyres in the wet don't help. That was our own fault, but we're flying along, we're catching a lot of people. The intermediates are now starting to cut up. And when we see these guys pit in for their race hards or their race softs or their mediums, whatever they want to go on, we will do the same. which in all fairness is probably the next lap. 8 minutes 24 remaining. We're going to pick up a penalty there. We cut the second apex way too hard. Way too hard. There we go, 1.5 seconds. Making our total for the day something like 3 seconds of penalties, which isn't so bad. We'll do it on a pit-in lap, just so we hide that. But 2:17 fastest lap. We haven't looked at getting anywhere near that recently. We did a 2:20 on the race hards just before we had to pit for the inters. Yeah, we're going to pit in this lap. That racing line has now developed. Fronts are starting to really show where. We haven't really been conscious of running them in the wet weather, in the wet track, just to keep them worn in. We haven't done that. As the rain retreats off the bottom right hand corner of the map, we will focus on where we're going next. Some 6 minutes of the race remaining. We're going to switch onto the race tyres now because these won't last another lap. I'm not seeing anybody else go to the pits though. We're going to have that same caution. We're going to have to be careful on the exit. We got back to 151 on Ordonez. Great looking car. Now we are away. Portilla comes into the pits as well. We need to be a bit cautious coming out of here as we come on this pit lane road. Really is quite wet. Who's coming out of Eau Rouge? Anybody? No, not this time. Okay. Right, now we're going to start to put the gas down. Not much to see on the weather radar. Ooh, a little soup song of extra curb there just to throw us onto the road. Minutes 32 remaining. Looks like we'll complete this lap and one more, maybe. Ordonez has gone to the pit, so he's on 23% of fuel. Will he just take a splash and dash? I don't think there's much chance of us catching him today. He will be the only... Will he be the only racer not lapped? Not entirely sure. Miazano's gone in. It'd be interesting to see who's where. That's Bishop. And in Ostra, Bishop goes in. Three minutes remaining as we go across the line. Then it looks like there's going to be 2 more laps. There's someone more. Has Miazano taken fuel? Is he looking like he needs to take any? He looks like he's left on a low level of fuel. So it is just Ordonez. We would need to catch him up by 22 seconds over this lap, which I don't think is going to happen. But we've run with virtually no battery the entire race. There has been moments where we come out the pits where we have like 3/4 of a battery, but it's gone almost immediately. Mr. Cookerman just holding a line that didn't favour us. Quite a gaggle of traffic ahead. We're going to cross this line with maybe 30 seconds to spare. And we will be entering our final lap. Our potential optimal best time is a 2:09:05. How is that the case? How can the optimal be 20 seconds? Sorry, 17 seconds ahead. What happened there? Give room. We're approaching Mr. Rubilar now, who seems to be running a slightly different line. Maybe he's still on inters, I don't know. We're on to our last lap then. This will be lap 24, the final lap. That will be the deciding factor, is which of the cars can achieve the most amount of laps. So if we're going to set the benchmark here, the Nismo with 24 be pretty epic. We know we made a couple of mistakes, but it's probably only 1 lap's worth. Only around 7 seconds behind Mr. Ordonez as we go lolping off onto the overrun. Get some massive wheel spin. Let's see if we can avoid that wall as we cut back onto the track ahead of Mr. what looks like the BRZ 300. Was that Mr. Wilk? It might have been Mr. Wilk. So here we are, coming around to complete the first of the series in the Nissan LM GTR Nismo 16. There we go, 24 laps complete. shed in the beautiful GT Amiga livery. Happy days. There you have it, fastest lap of a 2:17.238. By default of the timing process, we actually gain a lap on everybody. But we're actually 3 laps ahead of Miss McEwen there at the bottom end of the table. There we have it. There should be 1.5 million credits delivered to the bank account with the clean race bonus. 102 miles for the race. There we have it, folks. Thank you very much. And just to reiterate, folks, where we're going, what we're doing, this is a series of races around Spa with GT1 prototype cars. This is the first one. We'll start to see over the next couple of 3 weeks these dotted amongst the normal video coverage, and you'll start to be able to grind your way through in a more, I wouldn't say exciting, that's probably not the way to do it, in a more interesting way to grind the money. You'll notice if you do these once or twice a week, over the next 3 or 4 weeks, your bank balance will start to grow. You'll be able to then start to enjoy buying cars, etc. If you've been playing the game a long time and genuinely you've hated the grind, try it this way, see what you think. But with that, folks, I'd just like to say thank you and a big thumbs up to JB for his car design. A massive shout out to GT Amiga for their support. And we'll see you on the next one, folks. Thank you very much for watching, liking and subscribing, and we'll see you there. All the best. Take care. Goodbye for now.